Great. Welcome to SiteCapture Live, episode number 4. Hope everybody's doing well. Today, we're going to be talking about how to facilitate real-time communications between field staff and office staff using SiteCapture. And we're looking forward to that. Today, I'm Kamal Shah. I'm the founder and CEO of SiteCapture, and happy to also have Nolan Petersen, one of our account executives, joining us today for this episode. Today, we're going to really talk about facilitating this real-time communication through our in-app messaging feature, which we'll be talking about. So just as far as today's agenda, we'll be starting with an intro to SiteCapture. I know we have a lot of customers and people that are quite familiar with SiteCapture joining us today, but we also have some folks that are less familiar with SiteCapture, so I want to make sure I have a chance to introduce who we are as a company and our product to make sure everybody understands what that is, and then we'll dive into today's topic. Talk a little bit about the problems we're looking to solve, how the in-app messaging solves those problems, and what are kind of the end benefits customers get by using our in-app messaging. So we're looking forward to doing that. Great. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about SiteCapture. So SiteCapture, we're a software company. We provide a mobile and cloud software platform for streamlining field operations. So what we try to do is companies that are doing jobs on job sites, we provide software that makes that process more efficient by allowing our customers to be able to manage jobs effectively, allow their field staff to capture all the critical data and photos that are required for every step of a job, and have that stream back to the cloud and be able to be used for next steps in workflow. We are used in 3 primary industries. We focus on 3 industries: the solar industry, property management industry, and the construction industry. So if you're working in the solar industry, SiteCapture is used for doing site surveys, capturing all the data and photos that are needed in initial site assessment. That can be used for design purposes, can be used for putting together proposals, plan sets, and getting permits done. The installation management piece, which is tracking each step along the installation process and capturing all the information for certain milestones. Driving field office communications, which we're going to be doing today, making sure there's really good information flow, and also used for operations and maintenance and solar. In the property management world, we're used for doing property inspections, whether it's routine inspections, move-in inspections, move-out inspections, property condition reports, work orders for maintenance and construction projects, helping manage acquisition information that needs to be acquired during acquisitions, for doing various assessments on properties before you buy them, and also for the turn and renovation process. So SiteCapture gets used for everything from the initial scoping all the way through the management of a renovation construction project. And then just in more general construction, same sort of thing: estimating scopes, project tracking, quality control, and making sure you get really good photo documentation. So SiteCapture as a field operations platform can be used in all of these various use cases in these different industries, and used across these various industries in all these different ways. Okay, so today let's drill in a little bit into today's problem. So I think all of our customers, when we talk to them about challenges they have in their field operations, one of the things that always comes up is communications, how to really have good communication between, the field staff and the office, because projects always have various complications that come up. The person on site doesn't necessarily have all the information they need, or something's come up they didn't expect, and they really need to be able to talk to somebody about it and get that thing resolved as quickly as possible. And if that communication doesn't happen, the job often doesn't get completed because, perhaps they didn't have a code to get into the building, or wasn't able to get a hold of the customer, or something else that went wrong that they didn't expect, and they need some information before they can get it done. Or they don't get that communication, they're not exactly sure what to do, go ahead and try to complete the job and actually end up doing something wrong. Both those things require, the field staff to go back on site again another time, another truck roll, another site visit, and that's always painful and a problem. And the third problem is that when it does come time to communicate, communication through phone or text and a variety of other apps. There's so many different ways you can communicate. That communication gets scattered and it's hard to track it. So it could be a phone call, could be a text message through iMessage, or maybe a WhatsApp, or some other way that they're communicating, and all that is scattered. And if you're someone that's managing a project and every one of your teams or field staff or vendors is using a different mechanism for communicating, it's really hard to figure out the best way to keep communication going. So those are the problems that we hear from our customers around what happens when they don't have good communication. So what's the solution? So we have really looked to tackle this problem through allowing communication to happen right inside the SiteCapture app. So that way field staff and back office teams, can manage communication directly in the app with real-time messaging built right on the project, and all done in a single app. So there's a single app that you can use to communicate with all of your field staff and vendors. And so again, you don't have all of those issues of variety of different ways of communication. It's instant communication, just the way that WhatsApp or iMessage would work. So there's no delays, and that there's just a nice back and forth flow of instant messaging that happens in the app. And the other really nice part of the solution is that the communications are saved with the rest of your project data. So you don't have to go back and try to find something through your message threads or email, or trying to remember a phone call that happened. That communication is there on the project if you ever need to go back and refer to it to get clarity on what might have happened during the job, or to understand how a problem got solved and fixed. All that information would be on your project data. And all of these things we're going to show you when we demo this feature to you in a few minutes. And finally, what are the results of in-app messaging that we've been seeing with our customers as it's been in kind of its early access form? Projects are often, with this, customers can ensure that projects are completed and done right with this real-time communication. So if an issue comes up or question comes up, that can be resolved right in real time and allow that project to be completed and done right. Communication gets really simplified because there's one app to do that communication, and it's built into the application, right on the project that the user is using to do all of the rest of their work. And finally, the communications are easy to find afterwards because they're attached right to the project and available through the web app to review, or even in the mobile app to go back and review what the communication was. So those are the end results that our customers are seeing out of using in-app messaging, and pretty exciting to see them seeing these benefits and resolving some of the problems that we've been talking about for probably many years. So that's kind of just a quick overview. Maybe before we dive into the demo, Nolan, I just want to give you a chance to, anything that you want to say to introduce yourself before we dive into the demo. Anything that you also want to add around any experiences you've had with customers around in-app messaging?
Yeah, not too much. Hey, everybody. I'm Nolan Petersen. I'm an account executive here at SiteCapture. So I may have worked with you before. I work with our solar customers and some of those in the real estate space. And I actually come to SiteCapture with 5 years working for a solar installer. So I think that I kind of understand some of the communication issues that you might have in the field. And I'm really excited about, how in-app messaging can address some of that.
Great. Okay, well, let's go ahead and dive into the demo so we can actually see some of this stuff live. Oh, the other thing I'll mention before we jump into the demo, if anybody's got questions, feel free to post them as comments in whatever platform you're using. If you post comments there, we'll see them. We'll be able to answer questions. We'll answer questions in real time if they're kind of right in the context of what we're talking about. Otherwise, we'll save some of them for the end. We'll have a bit of Q&A in the last few minutes and answer them after we've gone through the demo. But feel free to keep posting questions, and we want to make this as interactive as possible. The other thing I'll just mention is that we're, generally these live streams, we go till 10:30, but we always save a little bit of time. If there's lots of questions, we're happy to continue and keep going past that. All right, great. So let's dive into the demo.
Kamal, are you going from the mobile piece first, or are
we are going here? Just going to get this up here so we can.
Awesome.
Just give us 1 second to get this going.
And not only questions about how it works, but we'd also love to hear any common points of communication that you guys have that would be helpful, you know, to be able to communicate directly with your field users. I remember a big one from the sales perspective, working for a solar installer was, hey, we need photos from a 10-foot, 5-foot, and 1-foot perspective of the service panel. And I know that I would miss that one quite often.
Great. All right. So just to kick things off, I've got the SiteCapture app up on my iPhone, and Nolan will be walking us through a demo here, and we're really just going to go through, somewhat of a what we consider an example of a real life situation where field staff and field tech is on the job site, and there's some communication that's going to happen between a manager sitting in an office in front of their computer in the SiteCapture web app, which we'll show after that, and an example of what things look like on the mobile app when the communication is happening. So yeah, Nolan, let's go ahead and kick it off.
Yeah, so of course you're looking at the perspective of the field user, probably a crew lead that would be out in the field. Those of you familiar with SiteCapture already, this is just the mobile app. So all of this work here is work that's been assigned to them. We have our sample project up at the top. So if you want to just tap into that. This will look familiar to most. Just it's a form that has been assigned out to this user. So really straightforward and easy for them to just tap into these sections and use the form as a guide. I've already gone through and taken these sample photos. But it's as easy as just tapping the camera icon up to the top right. And then you can take as many photos as you need in any section. Now, say Kamal is out in the field, he's getting photos of the house, and say he has a question maybe in the electrical information when he's going through and getting information on the service panel.
Yeah, Nolan, why don't we start with the use case of maybe just right when I arrive on the site and you're a manager and want to reach out and just see, what's going on, and then we can dive in a little bit more from there. So why don't we try that?
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Can we share both of our screens here at the same time, or should I just message you?
I think if you just message us and we'll show how it shows on the mobile app, and then we'll show the web app after this.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll show you this afterwards, but I'm the project manager and I'm actually here. It's all cloud-based. So I'm actually here looking at the project as Kamal is going through and taking photos. So as I'm seeing the photos happen, I'm keeping tabs on everything, and I see that he's taken a photo of the main service panel, and I just can't quite make out the breaker rating. So now I've just messaged him from the web portal, and that appears nicely at the top, showing Kamal that he has an unread message. It will also send a push notification, so he can just tap right through.
Yeah, and I did receive that push notification. It didn't show up on the shared screen, unfortunately, but push notification comes through, shows I have a message, and now I can also see on the SiteCapture list that I've got a message. That little red badge shows 1, which means I've got a 1 unread message on here. Now, if I drill in.
Yeah, if he drills in, there's the message icon at the top right corner, so he can just tap on that, and here now we're messaging back and forth with the office. And of course, these are just kind of common issues that a lot of solar installers go through. Sure, you can't see.
I think another thing to note is that we're showing this as an example, a solar example, but of course is applicable to any kind of job type, whether it's a construction job, a property management job. These are we're using the solar as an example here, but obviously this can be used in anyone's.
Awesome. And so now, this is an example of a question that if we didn't know the rating here, we probably would have had to go back and paid for another truck roll to get that information.
I think another note is that also right in the messaging, we can also send photos. This is in the photos get captured inside the rest of the SiteCapture app, but for be able to send a quick picture. Of course, this is just a photo of my window because I'm sitting in my office, but this could be a photo of what we were chatting about. So, the messaging, in-app messaging also includes photos, the ability to share photos here as well. Great. So that shows just kind of a quick example of what's available through the in-app messaging. I can always go back in, and as you can see, the whole message thread is still there. Another example is often, a manager might want to check whether the tech has got to the job site. So, I could be sitting there, want to just check in. So, Nolan could initiate, as a manager, could initiate a message out, or, hey, are you at the job site yet? That would be another example of times that this gets used, is really just to check on the status of someone arriving on a job site, whether they're there, whether they've notified the customer. So we see lots of great examples of how people can use this. Sometimes this thing about access codes, the access code they're using to try to get in is not correct, and they could do that, or a phone number is incorrect, and be able to quickly resolve those issues and have the person be able to very efficiently move through. Great, Nolan, I think, do you want to maybe show the web app view from
totally.
now? Okay, let me stop sharing, and we'll let Nolan show this from the web app view.
Okay. Cool. Can you see that, Kamal?
Yeah, can indeed.
Fantastic. Yeah. So again, if I'm a project manager and I'm going through my day, I have the SiteCapture portal open. One thing I can do if I just want to actually keep tabs and on a project that I know my crew is at, I can click into that project. And here is where of course I can, go through and in real time view all the photos that are being taken. And if there's anything, if this was too blurry, if the photo of their meter was too blurry, I could reach out. And then that would send out to this user's mobile app. Kamal, if you want to send one from the field to me as well, if I'm here in just the main view of the home screen,
sure.
We also have our message icon here that will show me if I have any new for any of the projects that are out. So I can click in, and this will take me right to the project. I can see the note and the issue that they're having. So really simple and straightforward way, just to have all of your photos and data in one place like you always do with SiteCapture, and then B, communication in the same project.
Great. Okay, I think we got a few questions, so I'll jump into those. Let me see, where are we going? Can I jump to the questions here? One of the questions was, is there a separate message thread for every project? Nolan, do you want to answer that, or is there a way you can show? I think it would be great to show the various. Is there another project with a message thread on it? So the answer is that yes, every project has its own message thread. They're all unique to that project. So the great thing about that is when you're looking at a message thread, you know exactly what project it relates to, and if you're and all the context of the conversation is very specifically about that one project. So you can see here, we're looking at this other project called Site Audit, and it's a completely different message thread. different folks are on it. Cool. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, the next question is, can I see who sent the message? And maybe Nolan, if you can dive into there and click that again.
So this has the actual name here.
Yeah, you can see there that on the left side, whoever's sending the message, you can see that they sent it. On the right side, anything is blue is what you've sent. So that's how you know who sent the message and who you need to communicate with, or who you're communicating with.
To piggyback on that, Kamal, I have a question. If this is shared with multiple users, are multiple users able to message back and forth?
Yeah, that's a great question. So anybody who this project is shared with, or it's assigned to, can participate in the message. So what will happen is anybody who this is assigned to, anybody it's shared with, if a message comes out, they'll all be notified about a new message. If they're on their mobile app, they'll see a push notification. They'll all be notified about it. They can all go in and see that message, which is great. The way it works from an administrator perspective is the manager of the project, the person who's assigned as the manager, will see all the messages. And any manager can also go into any project and see it, even if they're not currently the assigned manager. So that in other words, if they need to go in and just review a project, they're not assigned as the manager, they'll still be able to see the message thread. And if they leave a message, they will then join that message thread and get notifications for anything that goes on from that point forward. Cool. All right. Let's see. What's the next question here? One question is, does this come with a standard SiteCapture subscription? Great question. We're currently in early access mode on this feature. So this feature is available by request. If people are interested in being part of our early access program, if you're a customer, you can reach out to support@sitecapture.com. If you're evaluating SiteCapture or looking to evaluate SiteCapture and want to include the in-app messaging, you can contact your account exec or contact sales@sitecapture.com. If you want this to be part of a free trial or you want to get a free trial of this, we can provide that as well. Other questions here are, how many photos can you send during the chat or in the message? There's really no limit. The photos are just like as if you're sending images in iMessage or Slack or WhatsApp. You could just include images directly in the thread, and there's no limitations to those. There's another great question here that I actually do not know the answer to because I don't think we've encountered any limit. The question is there a character count on the message you send? Maybe a character count. I was asking whether there's a character limit. Is there a character count? Great question, and one that I'm not 100% sure of. Nolan, is that something you're aware of, whether there's a character count?
I have not encountered that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's encountered that as a problem, so I think we don't really have any issues as far as that goes. All right, let's see. Lots of questions coming in. Another one that's relevant to what we're talking about here. All right, this question here, is there any additional cost for the in-app messaging? Right now, while we're in early access, it's free for anybody who joins the in early access program and is using this. We're still determining what the pricing is going to be when we roll it out fully, which is probably still a few months away. But we're offering it for free, allow people to get get the benefits of this feature today. Also, opportunity for anybody who participates in the early access program to give us feedback on the in-app messaging. Let us know ways we can improve it. Let us know any issues that are run into, and we're continuing to improve this feature, enhance this feature, and get it ready for sort of general release in Q2, probably about in the May timeframe when it'll be fully ready for full availability. There's a question here. Can you download documents, photos, and video from the chat? In this current early access version, that's not available. I actually do believe you can save the photo, but in terms of downloading the entire chat, that is not possible today, but it's been a feature request to make this available either through some sort of export or through the API for people that are doing integration that want to pull this information and pull this information from the chat. So we're looking into that as an enhancement. Nolan, I don't know, maybe right there, can you see if the photo can be downloaded from the chat?
No, we can only view it here.
Sounds good. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's probably another enhancement that we can look at. All right, great. Well, we just got a few minutes left. So I think just to go back and wrap up, Nolan, if you wouldn't mind stop sharing, I'll just give a quick overview of what we looked at today. I'm going to go back and share this deck again. So again, just talking about, what it is, the problem we were trying to solve was really about the fact that when, field staff are out on the job site or a manager wants to know what's going on at a job site, around any complications that might come up or just to get status updates, it's been difficult to do that in any sort of consistent way. And when that communication doesn't happen, there's always challenges that can come up around getting the job completed or being done wrong. Those can result in having to do another truck roll and have to go back on site. And, today there's probably lots of different ways that, or at least our customers are telling us lots of different ways that all this communication is happening that make it difficult to track. And really what we've been trying to show today is how we can have that communication facilitated by SiteCapture right in the app. Message threads are connected directly to the project. So it's really easy to just communicate very specifically about a job or a project. Everything's done in a single app. It's all sort of real time, as you saw, and all the communication gets saved with your project data. And really our goal is to help our customers ensure that projects get done right the first time and get completed the first time and done as efficiently and as quickly as possible, to make it as easy as possible to do that communication and to make sure that any communication that happens is stored with all the rest of the project data. And I think that's what we tried to demonstrate today. And we're really excited about this new feature. As I mentioned, it's just in early access right now. We're getting lots of great feedback. We're getting lots of usage out of it, and we're really excited to roll it out more broadly. So for anybody that is interested in learning more about it or getting access to it, reach out to us. If you're an existing customer, you can reach out to support@sitecapture.com and get more information about it or get access to it and get it turned on in your account. And if you're a new customer or someone that's evaluating or looking to evaluate SiteCapture, please reach out to us at sales@sitecapture.com. We're happy to go into a much more in-depth demo about the entire product, not just the in-app messaging, demonstrate all the great features that we've got, and facilitate getting you into a free trial so you can try it all out for yourself. And with that, I think we've gone through the demo. I think we've answered everybody's questions. So if there's nothing else, looks like we'll be able to wrap up right on time at 10:30. And just want to thank everybody for joining. And we'll be announcing the next topic probably in the next week or so. And it'll probably be the next SiteCapture Live will be in about 4 weeks. We'll announce the next topic coming up soon. And we're excited to have you all join that. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.